Hello, welcome to another episode of the Retro Seller, where today we'll be covering another little handheld game console, this one being the Data Frog Retromax. It's an 8-bit system. It says it comes with 181 games on it, which are all basically NES games. Got this on AliExpress for about $15.88, which was $16.84 with tax. You could get this on a couple other little sites if you search for it. I've seen anywhere from $13 to $36, which I'm obviously throwing up on the screen as we speak. You might remember one of the earlier episodes I did on this channel of the little console known as the SUP2. It's similar in form factor, the SUP2 being a little bit smaller, this one looking a little bit more modern than this. Still has like a Game Boy kind of form factor to it. The difference between the two, this one says, it has 500 games on it, as opposed to the 188 on this. But this system had a lot of repeats on it. Some of them 3, 4, 5 times. A lot of homebrew games, which are still on this as well. But really, when you weed out all of the repeats that are on it, basically comes out to around the same amount of games. But I'm trying to judge these similar to the way I did this. This only cost $16.84. This one was $12, I believe, when I got it. You can't put this under the same microscope that you do with the newer systems, the newer Ambernicks. Even Powketty has some decent handhelds out there now, and things obviously more expensive and better than that. They're really cheap, so you can't expect it to emulate the kind of games that they do or do them as well. So you look at them a little differently, at least I do. So I'm trying to be fair based upon that. Nevertheless, this one comes with a 3-inch LCD screen. It's not that great. We'll obviously take a look at that closer. Has a 600 milliamp battery on it. Get about 6 hours-ish out of it, so it says. Haven't really played it long enough to see if it goes that long. Has about 256 megabytes of memory on it. Really not much out there as far as the specs on it, so I really can't tell you much more about it. I've seen it in multiple different colors. This one being a translucent clear color. I've seen it like a smoky black kind of translucent, purple, red, and yellow. So you can get in all different kinds of colors. But there's really not much more to say about it. So why don't we do our usual pseudo unboxing and take a look at it and see if you're interested in one of these things. And here we have the box for the Data Frog Retromax. It's a box, nothing special. Has a nice little picture on it. Has basically what it comes with. The game console, the audio video cable, and the charging cable. Okay box. So why don't we open up this bad boy. See what we get inside. And here you have the Retromax itself. Pop that out, set that off to the side. And what you get is the audio video cable. Now the AliExpress store that I purchased this in said that it did not have AV out function. So either the store is wrong or Datafrog has an incredible surplus of old AV cables and they're just trying to get rid of them by giving them to you. Other than that, I'm assuming it works. But we're not going to hook it up and look at it. I don't imagine it's going to look all that great on a flat screen TV, so we're not going to bother with that. And here is a micro USB charging cable. Kind of old school, but this isn't exactly a brand new system either. So why don't we set this off to the side and look at the system itself. And there you have it. The Data Frog Retromax, complete with dusty screen. But I actually like the form factor. I like the translucent plastic on it. It's not a cheap plastic. It has sort of like a matte finish, so you get kind of a decent grip on it. I believe that this shell, this case, was meant for something else because it being a 8-bit system, you don't need these shoulder buttons on the back here because there aren't any games on here that utilize it. So I imagine they had greater plans for this and then wound up throwing this cheaper motherboard in it and just using it as an 8-bit system. But let's look around at it. So you have a D-pad, which is actually really nice. It's got good travel to it. It's not rubbery. It's not overly clicky. So it's pretty responsive. You have the buttons, the A, B, X, Y buttons. Again, they actually feel really good. They're not rubbery. They're not overly clicky. Really decent. You have, if you can see it there, you have your start and select buttons. Also pretty decent. Reset button. The shoulder buttons that I was talking about aren't too bad. This is actually pretty comfy, in my opinion. Just holding it like this, it's better than holding it without this little ridge of the buttons. So at the very least, it's comfortable to hold it. Let's see what we have around there. You have the USB port here, the headphone jack / AV out. You have the power button and a kind of crappy volume wheel. It's kind of sunken in a little bit. You got to kind of use your fingernails to move it up and down. You have one mono speaker, as you can see right there, which is okay, I guess. But that's about it for our look around. So why don't we turn this puppy on and look at a few games and then call it a day. And there we have that standard menu that you see in a lot of these low-end handheld consoles and actually some of the plug-in ones. I have this mini NES knockoff system that has 620 games in one, and that uses a similar menu. The Sup 2 also had the same menu. So this is kind of common. This song is incredibly annoying. So if you have to listen to this for too long, you're probably going to smash it and waste your $16. But here's the speaker. So you can hear it's a little tinny. Could crank it up a little bit. A little distorted too, but you don't expect anything spectacular from this kind of system. But why don't we turn it down a little bit and just take a quick look around. So, what do we have here? Some Kirby games, Rockman, Super Mario Brothers. The standard stuff, you see this all over the place. Hammer and Harry, never heard of that one. Angry Birds 2, it's a garbage game. Not the same one you have on your phone. Double Dragons, Mario's Missing. Super Mario 14, so that is a homebrew game, kind of crappy. Super Mario Bros. 2, 6, obviously. These are all going to be homebrew games. Turtles, Pac-Mania. So before we play Pac-Man, let's look at the viewing angles on this screen. See how when you turn it, it gets very easily washed out. Horrible viewing angles on it. Wow, it's really slow. Turning isn't all that great on it. Wow, I don't want to go that way. Sometimes you gotta hit it twice even to go up. Yeah, so making precision 90-degree turns isn't good on this game. So one of the things that stinks about this, if you want to go back to the main menu and hit the reset button, it starts you back at 1. So if you were playing games somewhere in the 50s, you got to scroll all the way through to get back to it. But if it's in the higher numbers, all you got to do is go up, and you can go back in this direction. It seems really slow, like very much in slow motion here. Even the audio sounds really off. Either that or I've been smoking something. So here we have the Super Mario 14 homebrew game, if you're into these kind of things. Oh, even this feels slow motion. See what? That sure beats jumping on them. Doesn't seem to be moving very fast. We even see on this one seems like a little blue tinted. It's not just a viewing angle thing. It's hard to see the planes you're shooting against. It's all blue. Alright, we'll just take one final look. I think you kind of got the idea with how this thing looks and functions. It's an 8-bit system. Doesn't emulate all that great considering. Well, there you have it. That's our look at the Data Frog Retromax 8-bit handheld game system. Really, what more can we say about it? Do you need this thing? No, absolutely not. If you're a collector, maybe you'll get something out of it. The form factor is really good. Maybe you want to rip it apart and see if you could add some other kind of motherboard to it and juice this thing up the way it was probably originally intended to be. It's good if you're going on long trips, or maybe you're in some kind of horrible board meeting and you're not paying attention. You want to pass the time with this. You're not going to worry about, if you're traveling with it, about breaking it. It's only $16. But if you have other kind of systems out there, any of the newer Ambernick systems or what have you, you're not going to need this thing. If you have a young kid that's just getting into retro gaming, then you could get this for them as a gift, and it won't bother you if they get their greasy little fingers on it and ruin the thing. But, I mean, you can't add any ROMs to it, so it basically is what it is. You have to really like Nintendo games in order to really want this thing. But it's not bad. Again, it's cheap. Don't really know what much else there is to say about it. See if you like it. Give it a shot. If not, you're really not missing out on anything. So I guess that's it for this episode. Please like, comments, and subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.